I welcome everyone on the panel discussion on airborne infection control in healthcare facilities during COVID-19 pandemic. I am Dr. Pratigya Mathur, founder and director of Isoport Chamber Private Limited. So just to give the brief background, I would like to say that the style of living and the working has changed dramatically in the last 6 months. So the impact of COVID-19 has been felt by the overwhelming response of hospitals and healthcare facilities. There are discussions and research on day-to-day basis on the recommendations from government agencies on isolation facilities, safety on doctors, healthcare workers and patients, and also on role of HVAC or air conditioning facilities in COVID-19 wards. This webinar is basically intended for the doctors, healthcare facility managers, engineers associated with the hospital. So today, I would like to, before we begin the seminar, I would like to introduce all the members who are there on the panel for the discussion. Yeah, I would like to welcome Dr. Ratan Srivastav. Sir, can you switch on your camera?
Okay. Yes, I think I should be visible. I could connect through my mobile.
No, sir, you are visible. I can see you. I can hear you. I can see you.
Okay. Thank you, Mother.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
So I am visible. Okay.
So I would like to welcome Dr. Ratan Srivastav, sir. He is a senior epidemiologist and retired HOD and professor, Community Medicine, Institute of Medical Science, Banaras Hindu University. And on our panel, we have Dr. Amita Mathur with us. She is a senior pediatrician and retired as Chief Medical Superintendent, District Female Hospital, Jhansi. Also, we have air conditioning and purification experts with us, Mr. R.N. Rastogi, who is Senior Air Conditioning Project Professional, founder of AirMech. He has wide experience of having worked with Blue Star, Jindal, and JK Group. We also, on our panel, we also have Mrs. Neeru Mathur, who has over 20 years of professional experience spread over air purification industry as consultant with Aeroside Air Purifier, Indian Agricultural Research Institute, Pusa, Delhi, and also she has been advisor and consultant to Isoport Chamber Private Limited. I welcome all of you on the panel for the discussion. So just to give a background to begin our discussion, I had gone through some research papers and I came across that the research team at University of Florida succeeded in isolating live virus from aerosols, which was collected at a distance of 7 to 16 feet from patients which were hospitalized in COVID-19, which is much farther than 6 feet of distance, which has been recommended for social distancing by WHO. So Dr. Ratan Srivastav, sir, I would like to ask, with reference to this study, that as a senior epidemiologist, what are your thoughts on how we can minimize the risk of airborne infection in already overburdened hospitals, keeping in mind that the guidelines which have been suggested by WHO are only 6 feet, but it has been researched that even the virus also exists from 7 to 16 feet. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Pratigya Mathur. Thank you for this. I think this is very important issue which we are going to discuss on this platform. We all have realized the importance of infectious diseases after Corona. Otherwise, in hospitals, doctors used to fight with tuberculosis or some other infectious diseases. Mainly they were bacterial. There were few viral, and for bothered much. is another which is waterborne, and we can take. Am I audible?
Sir, you were not audible. Could you repeat your last sentence?
Okay. Actually, I wanted to connect through laptop. So if I get link, have you sent link in laptop, some mail? So I'm using hotspot of laptop. Through that, I'm using my mobile. Or
Sir, I'm mailing you
can you
the.
listen me?
Yeah, we can hear you, but partially we can hear you.
Okay, okay. So there is some problem. So we can do one thing. You just ask someone.
Sir, I'm
share
sending. Yeah.
If somebody send me link on email, in the meantime, some other person speaks, I will speak after 3-4 minutes. In the meantime, I will connect through my laptop.
Okay. Okay, sir.
So just
Sir,
share
we are
the
sending
link
you link on
email.
Yeah, I'm sending you the link
Yeah.
on the email, so then you can join.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay. So, meanwhile, I would like to ask Dr. Amita Mathurji, Madam, as a chief medical superintendent at a female hospital in Jhansi, what do you suggest that in the hospitals where there is the condition of COVID-19 patients which have been admitted, what type of ventilation system is desirable in hospital and clinics? And what do you think, according to you, what are the improvements which would be required in these ventilation systems?
Actually, I would like to tell you that the basic data that the air circulation, if we are dealing with the airborne infections, any airborne infection during this pandemic time of COVID-19 and still other airborne infections, the air circulation in a room where a patient is being kept should be at least 5 to 6 times in 1 hour. The air should be changed in a room. Ideally, each and every patient should be kept in one room, single room. The airborne infected patient should be kept in a single room. But if it is not possible, then in such conditions, it is advisable that at least 6 to 10 feet distance should be there between the two beds of the two patients, and there should be a partition between the patients so that the cross infection doesn't take place. So first thing is that air circulation is very important, at least 5 to 6 times in 1 hour. Secondly, if we talk about pregnant women, then it is the appropriate isolation is a must for pregnant women. And a woman has to visit a hospital many times during her pregnancy. So she is to be a protection should be given to the patients, even if she is COVID positive or she is COVID negative. If she is COVID positive, she is to be isolated so that she doesn't spread the infection, airborne infection to other patients. And if she is COVID negative, then she is to be protected from COVID positive patients. So they should be segregated and they should be isolated. And according to ICMR, the recommendation, it is important that isolation room with a negative pressure should be there. So if a patient is kept in an isolation room with negative pressure, that will be the ideal condition in the recent times. One thing more, sometimes the patients, antenatal patients have some problems or some complications, and for that also they have to be kept in the hospital, admitted in the hospital. So if the COVID patient is COVID positive, then also she is to be isolated, or if patient is negative, then also she is to be isolated. Similarly, the newborn baby, it is to be isolated so that it does not catch infection, the airborne infection. So the negative pressure isolation chamber is the ideal situation in recent times. Here I will also add that it is also recommended for the doctors who is sitting in an OPD and wearing with a even with a PP kit, still the doctor doesn't know whether the next patient who is coming to her or him is a COVID positive patient or a asymptomatic patient or pre-symptomatic patient. So if the patient is asymptomatic, the doctor would not know and they can catch the infection. If the patient is pre-symptomatic, the doctor is not aware, even if they are doing thermal testing, still if the patient is asymptomatic, they can spread infection to the doctors and paramedics. So it is important that the doctors also use the negative pressure isolation chambers for their OPD purpose.
Okay. So that's the advice by Dr. Amita Mathurji. I think Ratan sir, you are connected, right? But we can't hear you. Can you just turn on your mic?
Okay.
Yeah, now we can hear you.
Mm-hmm.
So, sir, yeah. So I'll just repeat that as a senior epidemiologist, what are your thoughts on how we can minimize the risk of airborne infection in already overburdened hospitals dealing with immunosuppressed patients?
Yeah, thank you. I'm sorry for the disturbance. Actually, there was email and your invitation was very much over there. I could find and I could connect easily, but hurriedly I tried with my mobile. Anyway, in the meantime, I was inquiring. I met some other doctors, some other epidemiologists, so that I can offer my views on this platform. I have seen many ICUs, many such isolation wards in our medical colleges, because I have been serving for last 40 years in different medical colleges. They are all government medical college. Lastly, I was there in BHU. In BHU, I have seen that there are big halls and then there are some 7, 8 or 10 beds in one room. So, and what they have done, like for severely infected patients, they have kept one whole wing, separate wing, like 5th floor for very severe L3 level. For mild level infection who are not under serious, some floor level 3 or 2nd. But after going through your website and after learning your equipment, I think that is an ideal situation. I totally agree that we cannot protect in our present situation, our present scenario, patients from each other. We keep 10 patients, 7, 8 patients in one big hall of same disease. But certainly if viral load is too much, then it is very difficult to protect one patient from other. It is true. So perhaps the negative pressure, which is a new thing, and I would like to learn, because I have only seen presence of such facility only in microbiology department. If they are handling some bacteria or virus, I still doubt. I think we have in our panel one microbiologist, Dr. Neeru Mathur, and she will share about that feeling. So perhaps this negative pressure for one patient, if it can work, I do not know. I will need answer from expert group that if we keep 7, 8 patients in one room, negative chamber, if it works very well, I think that will be an excellent thing. Because keeping separate room for 10 patients, the sister or staff nurse may find it difficult, because each chamber will be closed and for attending and for providing quick services. Perhaps we are not habitual in our country, And in Europe, in other countries, if they are having, so I'm not aware, I have not seen the other expert people, if they need, or somebody joins from Europe country or US, and then they can share from their hospital, or I can ask from my colleagues who are working over there about such facility. So I feel that it is good that in the Corona era, but now I'm feeling that the infection is spreading too much, and perhaps the many patients are suffering from mild disease, and in our country, and mortality is uh, sometimes because of fear, sometimes if patients are having comorbidity, and if they are coming hospital very late. And another thing on doctor part is that if suppose patient is suffering from diabetes and patient is positive, corona positive, then staff nurse is afraid of giving ordinary insulin to that patient. And then insulin, that glucose level goes very high, and that creates a problem. Perhaps the normal management can help us, and the removal of fear can help us. If and perhaps after this discussion, I will also learn many good things about this negative chamber. So over to expert. That is what I feel. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Ratan sir. So we'll just progress with the discussion on negative pressure and also the HVAC system by which cooling is provided to such rooms. So just to tell you that heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, which is HVAC systems, are used to maintain indoor temperature and humidity at healthy and comfortable levels. A well-maintained and operated system can reduce the spread of COVID-19 in indoor spaces by increasing the rate of air change, reducing the recirculation of the air, and increasing the use of outdoor fresh air. So the
Yeah.
recirculation modes which recirculate the air should not be used. But in the HVAC system, the important thing is that it should be regularly inspected, maintained, and cleaned. So, we have on our panel air conditioning and HVAC system expert, Mr. R.N. Rastogi ji. Rastogi ji, I would like to ask you that till date we were hugely dependent on HVAC, that is heating, ventilation, and air conditioning system, and air filtration system for effective infection control, since we know that HVAC system has got air purifier and HEPA filters in it. So but today, can we use air conditioning in context of COVID-19, and is it effective in controlling the spread of disease?
Thank you, Ms. Mathur. In fact, air conditioning is very important. None of the healthcare professional will work without air conditioning, and the patients also will not like to rather get admitted in the hospital where proper air conditioning is not there. But lately, the air conditioning is generally done by, in most of the places, it is done by split AC, window AC, and then ductable ACs and all. Actually, it should be done with HEPA filters and air handling units with proper centralized system. Then only it is possible basically to have more and more air changes. In fact, the guidelines for COVID-19 is 12 air changes per hour should be there. In fact, the total air should be replaced in 12 times in an hour. For that, we have to have certain systems. It will have fresh air unit, it will have exhaust air units, and the exhaust will be more than the fresh air in, so that it becomes negative pressure. Then presently we were using only two filters, mainly two filters, that is pre-filter and fine filters. Now with the COVID-19 situation, HEPA filters are mostly used. But present situation with the existing system, it is very difficult to incorporate those HEPA filters, because it needs spaces, it needs more pressure to have the friction loss, additional friction roll offered by HEPA filter. Then the load, when you pump in the fresh air to the system, to the air conditioned space, you need to have more and more capacity of the plant. Basically, the load, the additional load comes on the system, plant, AC plant. For that, you have to have again the finances, you have to have the spaces in the plant room, you need to have additional capacity of the chilled water system. So in the existing system, it is slightly difficult, but it is possible, very well possible. But again, finances, I've been talking to most of the doctors and all. Main issue is the finance basically. Space is available with them, but finances, again, it is basically give and take the things. So finance is very important now. In some of the places where the splits are there, it is impossible to change the system with central plant. So there we have to have only filtration unit, which will some air will be pumped in and exhaust unit will be there. So again, people outside the hospital do not get infected. So we have to have HEPA filter in the exhaust system also. It is important to have filters in intake air, but it is more important to have filters in the exhaust air, because otherwise the nearby population will be infected.
Right.
Then comes the UV light. UV light is playing very important role. You can kill virus with UV lights very well. That can be done in the air handling unit also, only where the air is being blown. So there we can install on the coil, UV lights can be installed in the coil, so that we get virus kill there itself. Then negative pressure is very well important. Isolation chambers are very important, but generally we are having lot many patients in one room, one hall. That is because of the space availability and all. Otherwise, you need more and more space. Chambers can be installed, isolation chamber can be installed in the hall, but again the space requirement is limited everywhere, and the more and more patients are coming, so it is very difficult to go for isolation chamber individually basically. So maximum places we have patients in the hall, and we have to protect outside people also. So for that we need to have exhaust system in the proper exhaust system, and with the HEPA filters also. Now what we can do, we have to maintain some guidelines also, like temperature we have to maintain between 24 to 30 degrees centigrade. That is fair enough for COVID-19 situation. It should not be below 24, it should not be more than 30 degrees centigrade. The relative humidity is also important. It should be between 40% to 70%. So below 40% will create dryness and all, and above 70% gives a basically bearable more than 70%, so that biologic this thing should this will increase. Virus will increase. Then air changes, I've told that it should be between 12 to 14 air changes per hour. These are the basic three conditions in this. I think I've covered.
Right. So you mean to say that the air conditioning in not HVAC system, but air conditioning needs to be relooked for controlling the spread of.
Air conditioning, correct.
Right. We need to integrate not many things into the air conditioning system for handling this with the COVID-19 or the spread of the.
There should be preventive maintenance also, so that all filters are cleaned properly. The duct passage where the air is being blown should be cleaned in periodic times. and then there should not be water logging inside the AHU or in the plant room where the air is being blown. These are the precautions we have to take. And one more thing is suggested, that in the homes, basically, where you cannot have HEPA filters, so you can open the window, you can increase the airflow, you run the fan on the maximum speed. That ceiling fan should be run on the maximum speed, so that there is a air changes take place. Basically, open the door. If not possible, then you can open the window to cool or say maybe once in 10 minutes in a day, so that at least fresh air comes in. Fresh air is again polluted air, so you can't have filters at home, but you can open the window. You can basically, air changes are important. Air changes are important, so that you can have fresh air positively in the room.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So,
Okay,
based
over
on
to
your,
you.
yeah, based on your, so you have explained the HVAC system to everyone. So, Dr. Amita Mathur ma'am, as a chief medical superintendent, I would like to know your views that since you have worked in this female hospital, so what are your views on this HVAC system which has been provided in the
Asked a very relevant question, Dr. Pratigya. In hospitals, usually we see that mostly three types of people we find in the hospital: the patients, the paramedical personnel, medical and paramedical personnel, and the attendants. So we have to protect all the three. The infection can spread from patient to patient, one patient to another, or patient to the medical personnel, and the care providers of the medical personnel and care providers of the patient, and of course the attendants are also at risk. Sometimes the asymptomatic attendants can also bring in the infection. During this COVID pandemic period, we need that in hospitals, in the wards, and in nursing homes, etc., we need that the air circulation should be there, so that the infection prevention can be done. We need a robust mechanism, so that the infection spread from one patient to the other is prevented. And for this, an isolation chamber for the patients, if the patient is COVID positive, or the patient is COVID negative. If the patient is staying there, if positive patient is there, then the infection from the positive patient to the medical personnel and the healthcare providers is to be protected, and that can be prevented by HVAC system if it is a robust system, air circulation is proper, and ventilation and air conditioning is proper, and the cost etc. can be seen later on, but the system is what I feel is important. And this negative pressure will be a very useful tool for the hospitals.
Right. So I think this negative pressure is the solution as suggested by Dr. Amita Mathur ma'am. So Dr. Ratan sir, I would like to ask you that since you have heard about from Rastogi ji, you have heard about the HVAC system and also about the air purification system. I would like to ask your view on whether these methods seem to be appropriate control to keep the respiratory infection under check?
Yes, I think very correct, because after knowing this mechanism, I personally feel, but I would like to listen microbiologist, because what is their opinion? If we listen, because mainly whenever we have done in the past, we were mainly worried for bacterial infection, and we were taking for all bacterial infection in hospital. This is for the first time that we are facing this corona problem, and now virus is very small particle. So if negative pressure can work, then I think it can add to help the health system. And I think a small experiment is required. Some big institution, ICMR or any medical college must carry out an experiment very quickly, so that and they can declare the result with a good sample size. This is what I feel. So, and then we will have evidence for this. Or if there any publication somewhere in foreign country, then I think it can be shared over here, and we will be more confident. I think evidence makes us more confident. I think let us listen the microbiology.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure.
Excuse me. I would like to say something. See, the
Yeah.
negative pressure does not help in killing the virus. It is just helping that so that the air which is coming in and goes out from the room should be that the where the patients are kept, that should be in the negative pressure, so that the fresh air is coming in and going out does not spread the virus to, it is not harming to others, basically surroundings, so that it is for that negative pressure is maintained, but that it cannot kill the virus. Simple.
Right. Mr. Rastogi ji
Yeah.
will come to this. Let me ask our senior microbiologist, Mrs. Neeru Mathur. So, ma'am, as senior microbiologist with experience in air purifications, what do you think? What are the key parameters which you would like to have? As he said that it does not annihilate or kills the virus. It is only the contamination control system, right? So I would like to ask you that what are the key parameters which you would like to have in a contamination control system for COVID-19 and other infectious diseases?
Yeah, thanks, Dr. Pratigya. Hearing our distinguished panelist, I was just noting some points, but we all know that in today's scenario, the normal HVAC systems have been a total failure. We are not able to control the infection in a centrally air-conditioned plants in the normal HVAC systems, which are with the normal HEPA filters. Because as now WHO has also declared this as a airborne infection, this virus is spreading through air, and we all know that. So as Dr. Amita pointed out, the ventilation system is the only key to this control. But I think the most important scenario in today's COVID world would be to ensure that this virus-laden airborne particles do not leak out of the room where this patient is there. Which is the room occupied by the COVID patients. They should be contained within the room. The most important thing from this microbiology perspective, if we want to control this virus, is that we should contain this virus from spreading out in the air and spreading like a wildfire. So to even the patients and the carriers, they should be isolated. They should be kept in the isolation. And this is just to control the spread of infection. But as Rastogi ji pointed out, isolating and containment may not kill the virus, but it is very important to contain the virus at the right time. For killing the virus or for annihilating it, as ISHRAE or ASHRAE has prescribed, in the exhaust ducts, we can go for UV lights. We can release the exhaust air after, from the exhaust pipes. There are certain guidelines which have been prescribed for release of the exhaust air from these isolation chambers, which can take care of the bio load. But for containment of this disease, I think COVID-19 positive patients and patients with COVID-19 related symptoms should be accommodated in designated airborne infection isolation rooms if we want to control the spread of the disease. However, as Dr. Ratan pointed out rightly, due to the surge in the number of such patients, healthcare facilities may not have the adequate number of isolation rooms right now to accommodate all such patients. So as an adjustment, we can convert temporarily the existing patient rooms or the ICUs or the big halls into these isolation chambers, the temporary isolation chambers, or if we with the partition, that would be ideal. But if we can't go for partition, then yes, in a designated room with negative pressure, the negative pressure will ensure that this virus doesn't spread to other areas. But yes, I agree, before we release this air in the atmosphere, this air should be treated. But in no case should this air be recirculated through your air handling units back into other areas or in the same COVID designated area. I think we all will appreciate if we try to recirculate, as Rastogi ji said, 12 air changers or not. ISHRAE for COVID guidelines has clearly specified that if we it is possible, we should go for non-recirculatory system. That means there should be no recirculation of the exhaust air. Before releasing, yes, we should treat that air before releasing in the atmosphere. That is from a COVID-19 perspective. Thank you. Over to you, Dr. Pratigya.
Okay. Yeah, so that was as Dr. Ratan sir, he also wanted to hear the microbiologist. So this was about the negative pressure and the contamination control system. So okay, so that was about the this contamination system. So now I would like to just discuss about to bring it further with reference to female hospitals. So Dr. Amita Mathur ma'am, as you have worked in as a CMS in female hospital, I would like to you to share your views on the guidelines which have been issued for pregnant women in COVID-19, which has been released by ICMR, National Institute for Research in Reproductive Health, Mumbai, that the isolation rooms with negative pressure can be used for symptomatic pregnant women. And what are your views on the same? And what is your view using these negative pressure isolation chambers for the security of doctors, especially with respect to female hospitals?
During this COVID pandemic, special care for pregnant women is needed. Pregnant women have to visit the hospital many times during her pregnancy. Even if she has no complications, then also, and if she has complications, then many times she has to stay in the hospital. So she has to be, if she is not COVID positive, she is to be protected from infection. And when infection which she can catch from hospital if there are patients of COVID positive patients in the hospital. So special care is to be given, and for that also the recommendation of ICMR is that circulation of the room or the ward or anywhere in the hospital should be more than 5 to 6 times per hour, so that the air circulation is there and the infection is not spread, airborne infections is not spread very easily to the patients. And in this situation, then I would again say that the negative pressure isolation chamber is recommended by the ICMR in its recommendation for pregnant women, that the patient should be kept in negative pressure isolation chambers. The newborns should also be kept in the negative pressure isolation chamber. Whether they are air conditioned or not, it is not mentioned there in ICMR recommendations, but it is recommended that the air circulation should be there and negative pressure should be there in the isolation chambers. In hospital, here I would also like to mention that in NICU, that is newborn intensive care unit. Sometimes the newborns are very sick and they have to be kept in intensive care unit. There also, to protect the newborns from COVID-19 infection or any other airborne infection, I would recommend, ICMR has recommended that they should be kept in negative pressure isolation chambers or rooms. So this is an important parameter which we should take in consideration. I have seen isolation chamber installed in Wadia Hospital, Mumbai, and they are giving very good results, which I have seen.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, ma'am, for this. Ratan sir, I would ask you also to give your view on these isolation rooms or isolation, the concept of isolation ward for COVID-19 and other patients in the hospital.
Yes, thank you. Yes, after listening all these things, I feel that it is possible now to control the infection of virus with the help of this negative pressure. But only thing is that we have to be very careful while releasing the indoor air, as microbiologist very well said, that we must have some device to treat the air while mixing into air. And certainly, technically, this looks wonderful idea. And if it is possible to keep 7-8 patients in one room and not to spread to other people and to control infection, I think this is a wonderful idea. And I have already suggested that we must carry out some trial, a quick trial, and then we can do it. I'm happy that in Mumbai people are using it. And recently, ICMR has also said in one of its report and recommendation that at delivery places or in MCH health, people can use it. So I think slowly when number will increase, then there will be evidence, and then we will know many strengths and weaknesses. Only that happens for any new thing.
Okay.
Now over to Pratigya.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much, sir. So, we have already had a good discussion. I think there are people in audience who would also like to ask question to the expert panel. I would like to ask Mathuresh ji, as a member of iSupport team. Mathuresh ji, can you take a few questions from the audience and interact with the panel?
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, let me thank you, all the dignitaries here, for enlightening us about suggestions, all those things. And what I could understand that as a concept, like all the doctors are very clear what needs to be done. The only thing what Mr. Rastogi also pointed out was that finance at times it becomes a constraint. At the same time, I heard Dr. Amita saying we will look into the cost part later on, because doctor would always say that, but in the marketplace, like obviously the hospitals and all those places, at all these places, they always talk of ROI. So my now to Mr. Rastogi. Mr. Rastogi, can you please unmute yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, thank you, Mr. Rastogi. You see, in HVAC, like all of us know, like the H and this AC, heating and air conditioning, is for human comfort. All of us know about it. So we are not talking of human comfort, because that is, people are talking, debating on that. So let's start that discussion whether we need air conditioning or we don't need. But yes, as you rightly said, it is for comfort and it is very, very much needed. So let us confine or restrict our discussion to the ventilation part. Now, my question to you is, like all those things what you named, like say maybe this UV light, or this positive negative pressure, or HEPA filter, all those things. Now you see, HVAC systems, they are already in place in the hospitals. And again, from the ROI perspective, the hospitals may not be inclined to spend once again on the HVAC system. So the real big challenge is eminent professionals like you, eminent consultants like you. Do you have a solution that can you do all those additional features in the existing system, which is actually only for human comfort, like say in a ICU, in a normal ICU, in a patient room, everywhere. Leave aside the isolation room and leave aside the operation theater, where all these things are very much in place, like HEPA filter or maybe UV light or whatever. So would it be possible for you to integrate all these features in the existing system, because that is the real challenge? Over to you, Mr. Rastogi.
Very well possible. In fact, when you go for negative pressure and extra filtration and extra air changes per hour, that is possible. The only thing is, for providing extra air changes, you need to have some modification in the air handling unit, and the motor needs to be replaced to next higher size motor, which is not costing much. Maybe say 10-20% cost will be there, and then filter cost will also come. That will be again 10% further increase of the cost. And the suggested temperature has gone from 20. Earlier we were using 22 degrees centigrade temperature. Now it is 24 to 30 degrees centigrade. So the moment you pump in the fresh air, the temperature of the inside hall increases. So they are allowing up to 30 degrees centigrade. Okay, so 30 degrees centigrade is fair enough. And if you leave apart the temperature, then you might have 35 degrees, 37 degrees centigrade. You will have thermal discomfort only. That's all. But other effects are not there. Now, if you leave apart temperature, then system doesn't need much of cost. Maybe in few thousand or few lakh, it will be done. Once you need the temperature also to be maintained, then you need to have crores or lakhs and crore. Then and lakh. Now, if the temperature is also important, then it you see, even the 100% fresh air is possible. Like in OTs, we take 100% fresh air. No return air is taken in high-end OTs. Normal OTs, we take return air also to save on the cost. So when you go for the, you forget the cost, then you can have temperature as well, and you can have the negative pressure. You can have air changes as per your wish. Okay. Now. And if you forget the thermal comfort, then there is no problem. The cost is not very high, but it is possible in the existing system. But some modifications will be done, because where you are taking the exhaust air from existing system, there you'll have to have ducts, you'll have to have put a fan, you'll have to put the filters, and some electrical connections will be there. So that's all. But it is very well possible. Again, the costing is there. You see, ideal situation, we should have separate patient in a room or in a isolation chamber. Again, for one isolation chamber and for movement of doctors and all, you need to have almost 100 square feet per patient. So you need to have that much big hall with you, and then air conditioning again is adding to the cost to this. Then basically it is again costing and the space constraint. That's all. Two basic systems are there. So generally what is done, even with the splits also, people are going for having in the existing hospital only split units are there, or the window ACs are there. They are installing HEPA filters with the exhaust system, so that it is not carried over to others. That's all. But for within the hall, of course, from one patient to other patient, it might basically be infected. That's all.
Yeah, Mr. Rastogi, thank you.
Clarify.
Yeah, and I have understood your views on that. But still, I would like to ask you, like, you see, the main problem what people face, like when you go out to sell these products, like the hospital admin actually, they always want to know what will be the additional cost. Like the existing system is already in place for human comfort. That is the air conditioning and the heating part. So they always want to know, if you want to bring about those changes in the ventilation, so then what is the additional cost? So what wild figure or wild percentage can we give? Incremental. What will be the incremental cost?
Incremental to with respect to what basically? No, with respect to existing AC system, or with respect to only one hall. It depends basically. No, it depends on the system.
Yeah, existing. I have understood your point. Like say,
suppose there is you have installed the plant in 1 crore rupee. Initial cost was 1 crore rupees for AC plant.
Yeah.
Now entire thing is to be converted to say for HEPA filters and exhaust only, or negative pressure, leave apart air conditioning part. So it will not be more than 10%, or 7 to 8% will be okay for negative. Go for making it negative pressure and HEPA filter, provision of HEPA filter and air changes per hour. But in case you go for thermal comfort also, it can double the cost basically. You see, whenever you pump in the fresh air, 1000 the thumb rule basically for air conditioning is 400 square feet as a part. There's a 150 square feet per ton is the basically it is designed basically for the thumb rule. Say for 150 you need 1 ton AC. 150 square feet you need 1 ton AC, and 1 ton costs you 50,000 rupees, 60,000 rupees. Now, if and it covers only 400 CFM. Now, for 1000 CFM, you need to have 7 to 8 tons of load, refrigeration load. So the cost will become double in case you go for the same thermal comfort. But otherwise, within 10% it will be done.
Okay, I take your 1 crore as the base. That system cost, I am just taking hypothetically. It is. Suppose I am not going for those comforts, that human comfort. Then you said that cost will be say 10% more. Okay, more over and above the 1 crore. Right? Fine, 10 cost. But suppose now patients will want the comfort also. So 1 crore already pumped in. 10 lakhs you have already suggested. How many lakhs more will come for the comfort?
It will be almost, say, for 20, 24 degree, 22 degree to 24 degrees centigrade temperature, it will be almost double. Double you have to, almost double of the cost. Basically, for the entire, but one thing is there, for entire hospital, you don't need to go for complete air changes and all. There are certain spaces where you don't need, you need simple air conditioning.
Yes.
You will basically need for ICU, OTs, and maybe COVID wards and all.
Yes.
So that with this, it will be 20 to 30 to 40% cost will be there. Yeah.
Has a question.
Yeah.
Here I have to add to this that the whole hospital need not have the changes in the air conditioning system. Only the ward where the COVID positive patients are being kept, one ward. If we have to change only one ward, say a ward of 20 feet or say 40 feet by 20 feet ward, where we are keeping the COVID positive patients, there we need not have the temperature comfort level. We only need is the ventilation and less amount of viral load on the patients and their attendants and medical personnel. So consider only a few wards. Don't consider the whole of the hospital.
Exactly. Maybe for 20 to 40.
I think in that case you can cut down on the cost of the thermal regulation.
Because in OTs, etc., we already test the patient, and when they are COVID negative, then we operate them. Most of the times, we operate those patients who are COVID negative. So we should consider only the wards of the COVID positive patients.
One thing
I fully appreciate what Dr. Amita said, that if we just concentrate on the COVID wards and the COVID isolation chambers of the rooms, I think we can take care. We should not, and we there's no need also to disturb other areas right as of now.
Yeah. Just excuse me for a minute. Pratigya, please, can you check Dr. Ratan? I am unable to see him in the panel now.
Yeah, so he had some urgent work, so he had to leave.
Okay, please carry on. Please carry on.
You see, the earlier OTs were positive pressure. It was not negative pressure, so that the air inside goes out. Basically, the fresh air doesn't enter in the OT. Now in the COVID scenario, it is reverse basically. Now the OTs are also negative pressure. So we were having some different arrangement for positive pressure. Now it will be different for negative pressure. So things are changing basically again, and depends on the system, depends on the, suppose there is nothing, only window AC or splits are there. If you change there, it will be costing much. If it is all central plant is available, then the cost is minimal. Basically, we can just replace pulleys, motor, and some filtration, then we can do it. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, sir. I think now we should wrap up our discussion. And before I wrap up, I would like to summarize whatever interesting discussion we had, between the doctors, between the air conditioning experts, and along with that, Mr. Microbiologist. So just to summarize that, what we had a discussion with Dr. Amita Mathur, Dr. Ratan Srivastava, who elaborated about the present need for the protection of the healthcare providers and patients. And the present regulation and the status which is there in the hospital. So it was suggested that these negative isolation chambers are a very good solution for making the containment zone which contains all the viral infections and protects the healthcare workers as well as the doctors. We also had a discussion especially related to the female wards. And then we also heard Rastogi ji about HVAC system and how it is designed to safeguard against airborne infection. So one question which was raised by Dr. Ratan Srivastava sir was that, which was very well answered, and I think we got an answer to that, that if there are big rooms which are there and there are 7 to 8 beds which are kept simultaneously for the patient, then these negative pressure isolation chambers, which is being developed by Isoport Chamber Private Limited, provides a very good solution by dividing the very big hall containing 7 to 8 patients into small chambers which are very easy to make. And very quickly a very big ward or a very big hall can be converted into multiple isolation chambers. So we had a discussion on this, and we have concluded that this negative isolation chamber concept is quite good. And there was also difference in opinion that how the air changes should be there, whether it should be 12 times or it should be 5 to 6 times. We also came to know through the discussion that what we want is the 100% change of the air. And as Rastogi ji suggested that, however, there is a cost which has to be borne by us for this kind of circulation. So one suggestion which came out was that instead of having thermal regulation, if we consider, especially for the government hospital where they cannot bear so much of cost, then we should focus more on the filtration part rather than spending more and more money and on the thermal regulation part. So that is how we can cut down the cost. And one more thing that comes out of this interesting discussion is that this air conditioning and is a one we have one more innovative. We can expect from the air conditioning industry that they can come out with some innovative solution so that the cost of the system doesn't increase, but still we get the thermal regulation as well as the air purification system, which are integrated and which is of the reasonable cost. I think with that, I would like to wrap up this discussion, and I would also like to tell that these kind of chambers, the negative, yeah, yes, please, yes, please, sir, we can't hear you. We can't hear you, sir.
Okay. ISHRE and CPWD has given clear guidelines that air changes should be restricted to 12 only, not less than 12 or more than 12. Because more than 12 is increasing cost dramatically and drastically, and lesser is not, rather, it does not recommended. So 12 air changes are fair enough. So we should restrict to 12 air changes only. ISHRE has given it.
Yeah, so I think we should have some innovation on the product, so that, you know, even after having 12 number of changes or 100% change, we do not increase the cost of the of our system so much. We should come
So
out
much.
with
Correct.
innovative solutions. So
Yeah.
talking about the negative isolation chamber, which is the solution to protecting the health of the doctors and healthcare workers, Isoport chamber has been working towards providing an innovative portable solution which can be put indoors, outdoors, and also is truck mounted for providing a sterile environment within your existing civil structure. So we don't construct a separate isolation ward, but we take the already existing civil structure, and we just do some minimalistic modification to convert it into negative pressure isolation chamber, which creates a better environment for patient and staff. So this negative isolation chambers includes HEPA filter, includes pressure gradients, UV sterilization, air conditioning, and duct work, which are all recommended by CDC and WHO. So Isoport chamber is providing this kind of solution, which quickly converts an existing standard patient ward or any existing structure into multiple negative isolation chamber. So with this, I would like to thank all the panelists and all the audience for being with us for such an interesting discussion. Thank you so much for your valuable time.
Thank you, Dr. Pratigya.
Thank you.
Thank you.